Today on AGetc, Kyle Bauer is at the Global Food Network meeting in Omaha, visiting with CEO Mary Boat. Then meet Andrew Osmond, a farmer in the UK. Then find out about global breadfruit and why it is growing in popularity overseas. Lee Hart with Cowboy Logic is talking about tips when it comes to exercising your horse and why balance is important. Then we'll end with Jim and Melissa Moore talking about the importance of having the right technology on their ranch. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Mary Boat. She's Chief Executive Officer for Global Farmer Network. I'm in Des Moines at your meeting. I need you to tell us, Mary, you've been with the organization since its start. Can you just lay out the history and the purpose of Global Farmer Network?
Absolutely. Global Farmer Network, what we now know as Global Farmer Network, started in 2000. 5 Iowa farmers and myself saw a need, then specifically talking about trade on a farmer's perspective. We seem to be losing that battle, specifically getting preferred trading status for China, moving through the U.S. Congress at that time. Same time, WTO meeting in Seattle, the Battle of Seattle was going on. The mission has stayed the same. It's important that the farmer's voice be engaged in conversations wherever we're talking about food and nutritional security. A lot of times there's people who represent farmers there, but rarely have there been farmers. And so our mission is to get those farmers involved. Since 2000, now 2017, 159 farmers who have been invited. This is not a general membership organization. You're invited. Our mission is to identify very articulate, authentic farmer leaders from around the world who are willing to engage. I would suggest that this diverse group of leaders are very early information technology adapters and willing to be used as a resource and talk to other people about that.
You know, as I sit in with your group, there's 14 farmers from 14 countries, and some of them farm thousands of acres, some of them tens of acres. But they seem to have similar problems worldwide, access to capital, access to labor, integration of technology. It's pretty amazing.
It is, and I think it's one of the most important parts of what we do with the Global Farmer Roundtable that we hold each year in conjunction with the World Food Prize. Sometimes we have to understand that we have more in common than we have different. If you look around the table, it would appear to be a very diverse group, and you, as you laid out, strong differences in size and crops. We have a snail farmer and a catfish fishery farmer, and corn, soybeans, vegetables, and everything in between. But their challenges, climate, market volatility, ability to get labor, to keep it, are very similar.
I was surprised as we talked to folks too, even intervention of government comes in play, whether it's intervention of one country cutting you out or even your own country cutting you out of trade.
Absolutely, and that's why the farmer's voice is so very important, not only in meetings like this where we're talking about food security, but in the halls of Congress, wherever that Congress might be located. It might be a state in the United States or the national, or in Rwanda or Kenya. One of our farmers specifically has been very involved in some of the relationships with the import of and actually cultivation of genetically modified crops in Kenya. That ban actually to import has now been lifted, but it's been because the farmers have actually engaged in these conversations. And we have examples like that all around the world where farmers are understanding that their ability to tell how these laws will impact them and therefore the rest of us as consumers is very important.
We're visiting with Mary Boat. She is Chief Executive Officer for Global Farmer Network. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Mark your calendars now for the 2018 Topeka Farm Show, January 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Kansas Expo Center. 253 exhibitors, 612 booths, and other attractions like free horse training clinics with Scott Daly, the Kansas Soybean Expo, and free well water nitrate testing. Enjoy free parking, admission, and a chance to win grand prizes courtesy of Midland Seed and Hoyt Truck Center. All this and more at the Topeka Farm Show, January 9th through the 11th at the Kansas Expo Center.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I'm visiting with Andrew Osmond. He is a farmer from England. I'm very curious as to what your farming operation is like. Do you raise crops, and what are they?
Yes, Carl, we do raise crops. We would specialize in grass production for seed, so herbage seed, and that would consist of amenity grasses and forage types as well, mainly diploid types. And we would also specialize in seed growing of barley, and that barley would be spring barley, and in particular for malting and distilling. We also grow commercial crops like wheat and oilseed rape, which would be your canola equivalent. And there are also legumes, peas and beans as well, which come into the rotation every now and then. The main break crop would be oilseed rape in the country, and for us, our main break crop is grass for seed.
Now, is livestock part of your operation?
Yeah, livestock very much is part of the operation, and in some ways farming, we're going backwards to go forwards, really. Livestock production is on the increase. It's an effect really of rotation and soil health. Marketing is there, but we have to be very careful not to overproduce, especially sheep and beef. But livestock is coming back in, and we would have beef, and they're extensive beef, we would call it in the UK, where they're out for most of the year grazing grass, especially downlands and meadow pastures, that sort of thing. But then they come in over the winter. It's wet. If you haven't heard, it does rain occasionally in the UK. It is a maritime climate, and we have to react to that. But the sheep, on the other hand, they stay out all year, in fact. They only come in to be sorted and to be drafted and then moved on to another farm.
Now, your cattle operation, is that a cow-calf operation, or do you keep those animals all the way to processing and slaughter?
Again, a good question. We do a bit of a mix. On the meadowland, we go with cow and calf, so that would be a suckler herd, we would call it. And on another farm, we would go with buying in store cattle and then finishing them. So that would be our main.
Now, are your cattle finished with grain or forage only?
They'd be finished with, we try and do it with forage. We try and do it with grass production. Because we're that maritime climate, we do get quite a lot of rain at certain times of the year, and grass does grow quite well.
We're visiting with Andrew Osmond. He is a farmer from England. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and take trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Josh Schneider. He is one of the developers of modern breadfruit. I saw Osage orange hedge balls sitting on his table, and it caught my interest. Of course, in our listening area, it's very common. And why do you have hedge balls on your table talking about breadfruit? It's not the same.
Well, to attract the attention of people like you who would go, hey, what's that? Why do you have those there? Osage orange is a relative of breadfruit in the mulberry family. Breadfruit is sort of a tropical cousin. It's a starch-like crop that is pretty much indistinguishable from a potato that was first made famous in the late 1700s with Captain Bligh's journey to Tahiti on a vessel called the Bounty. Many people may remember the mutiny on the Bounty. That was to bring breadfruit trees from Tahiti, where Captain Cook had discovered the islands a few years before, and observed that the breadfruit was so productive that it enabled the people of French Polynesia, or Polynesia at the time, to have a very leisurely life because the trees were so productive. The reason it's called breadfruit is because it can be fermented. In Polynesia, they would ferment the fruits in a hole in the ground lined with banana leaves, and after a period of time, the fermented material can be baked to look just like bread. So it's like a sourdough. But additionally, you can make, it makes an excellent gluten-free flour, but it's an easy replacement for potatoes. So when you look at a place like Hawaii, for instance, who can't grow potatoes, they can grow breadfruit, but they spend something like $100 million a year importing potatoes rather than just producing breadfruit and not paying all the freight. This is our vision for Africa. Over the last 5 years, I planted 150,000 trees in 50 countries. It's been some of the most interesting work of my life. Never expected to spend time in places like Nigeria and Liberia, but it has been extremely rewarding to see how empowering farmers to be able to solve their own problems helps them improve the lot of them, their families, their villages, and their communities.
But if breadfruit has been around for centuries, why do they need you?
Well, no one had figured out how to effectively propagate it. It could only be propagated from root cuttings because about 1,000 years ago, most of the varieties stopped making seeds. And so they threw in their lot with humans to carry them from island to island. That's how breadfruit first came to Hawaii, in a canoe with Polynesians 5,000 years ago. So we developed a tissue culture protocol. My partners in Germany are quite good at tissue culture. And so we developed a tissue culture protocol to propagate these traditional varieties and make them available to farmers around the world without the risk of spreading disease. And so it is much easier to ship a greenhouse-grown tissue culture plantlet. We ship trees about the size of a tomato you'd buy at the garden center in the spring. They are grown on for 3 to 6 months in a nursery setting, and then they're planted in the field, and they begin fruiting at 2 years of age, hit their peak at about 5 years, and produce between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds of high-quality potato-like fruits every year.
We're visiting with Josh Schneider. He is one of the heads or the original person that was developing breadfruit globally. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Welcome to the Jerry Thomas Gallery and Collection, where we feature my renowned artwork, frontier military, and Native American artifacts. In the painting behind me is Scouting the Trail. 2 scouts overlook the Smoky Hill River Valley just north of the famous Monument Rocks, which are internationally renowned, as a column of 7th Cavalry parade north of the river. On this point, 2 scouts rode in a circle, and there were 18 cartridges found up there, and that meant that they usually were warning of impending danger and firing off their weapons. One of those weapons I feature in the gallery, a Spencer weapon, which we featured in the painting. Very unique and very honored to showcase this to you.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard. This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to take you through a balance exercise that I've got that will help improve your seat position and help you get that standard line that we're all looking for when we're sitting on our horse, where we have that line from our heel to our hip, through our shoulders and our ear. So if we took a sorting stick or a straight stick, we should be able to run it from our heel straight up through here, through our shoulder, and be in a nice even line. And what we're going to do in this drill is we're going to stand up, or just put enough weight in them stirrups and enough pressure on our legs to rise us up and off of the seat of our saddle, just to where the tips of our pockets clear up off of that saddle. And then we're going to hold that position as we're moving with our horse. But at first, guys, let's just stand up and just hold that position there where you've got a nice straight line. Now, when you get ready to sit down, I don't want you to flop backwards like this. I want you to set straight down into the saddle. And what you're going to find is you're going to find a groove that was actually built in that saddle through the ground seat of that saddle where you should naturally be sitting. When you run your hand behind you, you'll also notice that you're not touching the back of your saddle anymore. That's because you're not back here. The other thing is we're doing this. Everybody's always preaching about heels down. Heels down is important, but actually as we're riding our horse, our heels should be level with the base of the stirrup. That way, our legs are actually being shock absorbers. Then when we get ready to stop our horse, we can extend our heels past level and get deeper into our saddle. So we're going to start off here, guys. Just ask your horse to walk. And then you're just going to stand up. Pretend like somebody's just pulling your hair from straight above and pick yourself up off of that saddle and just hold that position. What you don't want is to lean way out over your horse or to get way behind your horse. You want to be straight in the center, moving with your horse. There you go. All right, go ahead and sit down. Good. Now let's go ahead and move into a trot. So we're all going to trot around here. Now we're going to stand up. So just stand up and hold it as you're trotting around. I do this exercise every day that I ride a horse, and my goal is to be able to walk, trot, and lope a horse for quite a bit of time, and it will help with my core strength, and it will also help with my body position, where I'm in that forward driving position with my body as opposed to always catching up. One thing you don't want to fall for is to be looking down at your horse's ears. Look past the horse's ears, out there into the horizon, not at the horse's ears. So hold that up there. Now, just relax and sit down. Very good. Already you guys are setting better. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go back up. We want to be able to move on our horses and them not think that they need to rush off every time they feel us move. So when I move up there, that's not telling the horse to go faster. That's telling the horse to listen to me. There's another cue getting ready to come. Bring your shoulders back over your hips just a little bit. And Elizabeth just joined us, and she's riding a new horse. She's riding Alvin. He's a young horse, and he's a really cool horse. So she's just getting to know him. All right, that's really great, guys. Let's stop. We're going to reverse direction. So turn to your left, and let's trot off the other way, and we'll resume this drill. Now think to yourself as you get ready to ask for it and you stand up, They're going to pick you straight up. Don't get to leaning. Eyes ahead and riding. And if you're having trouble holding that, a good cheat or a good way to help yourself is just to reach forward and grab a handful of mane to help you stay in that position. But our end goal is that we can hold that position and lope around here. All right, sit down. How do your legs feel after you've done this drill? They should be a little bit tired, absolutely. They should get to a point where they're burning just a little bit. It's a really great job. And I'll do this for 15, 20 minutes every day on different horses.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome to our Bar B, 8,000 plus square feet Western store with something for everyone in the family. We have boots, belts, hats, jeans, anything you could want to outfit you and your horse. Come visit our line of saddles. We have 400 plus new and used saddles in stock. We offer tack, grooming supplies, headstalls, breast collars, you name it, we've got it for you and your horse. That's our Bar B, 1 mile east of Highway 4 on Northeast 39th. Our Bar B, where Western is a way of life.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Are things always what they seem? For ranchers Jim and Melissa Moore, confidence rests in technology.
We just have so many more tools now to look at with data than we did with just using our eyes. And Jim has always kept copious records. So generations back, he could tell you a lot about our cattle, but everything he could tell you was from looking at the cattle on the outside and looking at their offspring and what, how they produced on the outside.
On top of live evaluation, the Moores lean on data to lift their herd above the rest.
But now we actually have ways of validating that the product that we're selling that's ending up in the grocery store is the best it can possibly be. And we're working, with every bit of data that comes back to us, Jim's pores over that. And, we make even better decisions, more data-driven decisions than we were ever able to do prior to this.
That matters to Melissa, who's an educator, a wife, and a mother.
Not only in just the connections we've been able to make with people that are resources through Certified Angus Beef, whom we really feel has helped us elevate to a higher level of productivity. Not just that sense of pride, but in knowing what we are selling is a good, healthy product for other families to benefit from.
That's led to more money at harvest time and even more motivation to improve their aim.
And if we don't hit that mark, then, we're not doing what we need to be doing for the consumer. So if every one of our cattle don't hit Certified Angus Beef, then we're making adjustments because now that's our mark, so to speak, that we're aiming for.
It's technology that gets them there. I'm Bob Cervera.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.